Hello and welcome to Gamers Getting Older,
where a group of older gamers get together,
talk about the good old days of gaming,
and how times have changed for the better or worse. I'm Brendan.
I'm Steven.
I'm Nick, and we are
Gamers
Getting Older.
Wow, that was
perfect, guys. Perfect.
And that was good, but not great. Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. Oh, wait, no, it's not the Wii U. It's just the Wii. Welcome back to another week. Gamers Getting Older.
For today, we talk about the Nintendo Wii.
Well, welcome to the Gamers Getting Older channel right here on the Wii Home channel. Everybody,
we out here.
Hey guys, welcome to Gamers Getting Older. Everybody raise your Wii-Motes and click play. We're going to jump right into a Wii episode.
Welcome back to another week of Gamers Getting Older. This week we're talking about everybody's favorite fitness. I stop. fitness gaming system. The Wii.
That's right. We're talking all things Wii, from the Wii games to the Wii games
to the Wii-Mote. And
also the nunchuck.
The good old nunchuck. And the sensor board.
Yeah, you know, we've been talking about the controllers since we did the N64 episode. This is a tough conversation to have about the Wii controllers because I feel like you either loved it or you hated it.
I
forgot to put the strap on one time.
That leads to an awkward position right there.
It does. Forgot to put the nunchuck strap around my wrist, and I've thrown the controller on accident doing bowling.
Oh, that's when all the memes started. Well, they weren't called memes back then, but that's when all the pictures on 4chan started popping up. Well, I think they were called memes on 4chan, but they weren't like global like they are now. It's very weird to hear my mom say the word meme. Like I never thought this would become so mainstream. I mean, back then nobody knew how to pronounce it. I had friends calling them memes.
Memes, yeah. I remember memes.
Yeah. So I mean, that was back in the day. But yeah, there was all those images of the Wii-Motes just stuck in TVs like daggers. So did you guys own a Wii? Did you buy a Wii?
I never owned a Wii. I happened to be in relationships where my significant other owned a Wii, and I got to play it through them.
So you got secondhand Wii.
I did get a secondhand Wii.
I played with my parents' Wii.
Ooh.
Oh goodness.
That was actually one of the systems that I don't remember why, but like my mom wanted to get. Like, so she saw a commercial or something about it and was like, I really want to buy the Wii for us to play as a family.
That's actually a really good marketing for Nintendo on Nintendo's part, because I mean, it's absolutely a great family console. I mean, the game that it comes with is the best family game on the Wii.
I would agree.
I mean, raise your hand. No matter where you are, if you're in a car, don't raise your hands. 10 and 2, please. But raise your hands if you ever played Wii bowling with your parents or somebody else's parents, and those parents were just drunk and they were just playing Wii bowling with you. You weren't drunk, but they were drunk.
All the time.
Yeah.
We're all raising our hands.
Yeah. I mean, this was the parents' dream. I mean, they get to get drunk and hold one button and just bowl, you know, and they're hanging out with their kids, but they're having a great time because this is very simple, quick, fun, you know. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, you say that, but come to a house where bowling was competitive. So as I mentioned, I think in a previous episode, I came from a bowling family. We were bowlers. So this comes out and it turned into just more competition in the house for bowling. I'd have my dad practicing Wii bowling, like he in his free time playing Wii bowling, because he's like, I got to break 250. I was so close. Like it was no longer just for fun. It was like tonight we're hitting the lanes. We're gonna see who's the best.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, countless amounts of parents I played this with. Do you guys remember there was that mode where you could knock, there was like a crap load of pins that you could knock down, but if you got the ball on the edge of the bar and rolled it all the way down, it would just knock every pin down.
I don't know that I ever knocked them all down. I think it was like 100 pins or something like that. Like I remember what you're talking about, but I didn't know that there was a trick.
Yeah, because there's those bumper rails on the sides of the alley, and if you throw your ball and get it to stay on the rail all the way down to the back, it automatically knocks all the pins down.
Huh.
Interesting. So you were glitching.
Yeah.
Interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was such a great game, though. I mean, lots of Wii-Motes were thrown because of it, not on purpose, but they were tossed. You always had to have that clear gel. Remember the clear gel thing that went around it,
Like an OtterBox for the Wii-Mote.
Yeah, and it was very padded up front because they knew that sucker was going to fling out of your hand. I mean, like this was really the first like motion controller that was just not a third party weird, add-on. This was just like, this is, you want to swing a sword, move your stupid hand. Don't be lazy. They forced you into it. Except for when they released Twilight Princess, they released it on the GameCube also, so you could just use a GameCube controller with that version.
So I had to look it up, your secret bowling thing. And you were right. You don't even throw it like, I thought you just meant like on the edge of the pins. No, you literally throw it down the bumper. Like it's on top of the bumper.
It rides on top.
And then it crashes into the back of the alley lane. And it's like when it does, it creates this like explosion, and all of a sudden all the pins just like bloop and just fall over.
Yeah,
like
I successfully did that. I did it.
That's insane. This video has 4,700,000 views on YouTube for this clip of this secret strike.
That's not a clip. That's a training video.
That's insane.
This is a trick question with the Wii. What do you guys think the number one game on the Wii was?
I know what I think it is, and this is where it's going to be wrong.
Go ahead. You go first this time.
I was going to go with Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
Kind of like the brawl going on behind you.
Can you guys hear that?
I heard him faintly and saw him fighting.
Sorry. For sold the most, I'm in between Wii Fit and Twilight Princess.
The best selling was Wii Sports because it was packed in with the game. The standalone game
Cheating
was Mario Kart for the Wii.
Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yep. 37.32 million. And that's as of March 31st, 2020.
Look, there's a lot of people that will swear by that game and say that is the quintessential best version of Mario Kart. I actually did not get a chance to play it that much on any of the systems that it came out, because at the time of the GameCube and the Wii, I mean, really it was a very heavy focus on Smash Brothers, and I didn't have the same home structure where me and my brother would sit down at night and play games, so I played games a lot more by myself, and playing, Mario Kart alone was kind of just depressing.
Yeah, that sounds quite depressing.
Like once you've had the experience with playing with four people, you know what I mean? Like it's tough to go back to playing like time trials and like racing yourself.
I bet that's how the drinking and driving Mario Kart came about. Somebody playing by themselves, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to make this interesting.
Yeah, because the Wii came out around the time we started college, like a year before.
2006.
So I remember playing it. Yeah, and we graduated in 2007. So I remember playing it that short period of time at home before starting college. And like I said, it was my parents' system, so it didn't go to college with me. And so then I remember coming home, bringing friends from college home and playing the Wii in the living room on the big TV with my parents and friends from college, and all the different games that you had, like with the Wii Fit and everything. I actually just stumbled across a video the other day of a buddy from college standing in my living room, shaking his hips, trying to keep a hula hoop up because that was the game we were playing on the Wii at the time. And people are just yelling at him, and he's just frantically spinning in a circle, like trying to keep a hula hoop from touching the ground.
See, for me, the Wii was really the start of what I would probably say I would call my gaming independence. I had a job, I had a car, and I was able to buy a Wii myself. So that felt really good. But also at the same time, my world had expanded. I now had a car. I went to Friday Night Magic every Friday. I had a lot of friends that I knew that had a lot of the same interests. And a lot of it involved Super Smash Brothers Brawl. So I had this new network of friends that would come over to my house to play Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I mean, we would play Magic until midnight, 1 a.m. at the shop, come back to my house after getting some McDonald's, and we would just play Smash Brothers all night, like well into the night. And I would have people over, like exceeding the limits of the game, but we would just, again, swap loser out. And this wasn't just the people that lived in my area, it wasn't just my brother or the people that lived a few houses down. My world had expanded to the whole town, even into other small towns that are really close. So I had this, really for the first time, this larger network of friends, that we had to like reach out and communicate with each other to like plan things. And it was really the start of really like my growing up. And it's weird to say that about the Wii, because the Wii, I would say, is the complete opposite of that. It's a quite silly, more childish, on the side of childish system. You know what I mean? I mean, you have the thingy and you're swinging it around, but like that system like united me with a lot of people, all because we all just loved playing Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably say the main games. I mean, I played a little bit of like the Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, but it was like way later, probably 2011, 2012. I kind of had a hiatus when I went into the military from video games. But I do remember playing Rock Band and stuff. Like when all that started coming out, I had a friend when I was actually stationed in Virginia that had a Wii, and we played Rock Band, and that was when that started getting into those type of games, which were fun at the time.
That was definitely what I
yeah.
played a lot of during that time too, is because I was being in college and you were drinking at parties and stuff. And that was something that always came out, was like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, would get pulled out. And so obviously I played that on probably every system. So it may not have been Wii specific, but I know at some point in time during that time, I would have played it on a Wii, because that's just the system that somebody would have had.
Mm-hmm.
My love of Harvest Moon, everybody knows at this point how much I love Harvest Moon. Maybe, I don't know how much I've mentioned it. I love Harvest Moon. So the last Harvest Moon game that I ever played before I bought this one on the Switch, that's a remake of one of the ones on the PS1, was Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility on the Wii. This was made by the actual guy. So this was before. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Harvest Moon isn't called Harvest Moon anymore. It's called Story of Seasons. Natsume just owns the rights to the name, so they're just capitalizing on the name, making crappy farming games. But it's not actually Harvest Moon. So just to clear the air, Natsume originally published Harvest Moon in the West for a company called Marvelous. Marvelous decided they no longer needed Natsume to publish in the West because they had Xseed, which was their Western-based publishers. So they said, Natsume, we're not going to publish through you anymore. And Natsume said, okay, well, we own the name Harvest Moon, so suck it, nerds. So they decided to call it Story of Seasons and keep making it. So the true Harvest Moon is called Story of Seasons now. Every Harvest Moon game released now is basically just off-brand crap that Natsume makes to capitalize on the name, to trick people that remember Harvest Moon into buying these crappy Facebook games that they make. Now that that's out of the way, this was made by Marvelous, so it was a true blue Harvest Moon game. So it was the last Harvest Moon game I played until Stardew Valley came out. So it's a long gap of me not playing farming sims. But the reason I stopped playing it was so Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility was cool because you could purchase additional farms, you could purchase additional land. So I had like all the farms bought. Like I was really advanced in my game. Like I had a lot of really cool stuff going on. And I was living with a friend at the time, and he would play the game too, but he was nowhere near as far as me. And he had another friend over, and I remember we were all sitting in the living room, and he was playing his game, and he was like, "Oh, well, let me load Nick's game and show you his." So he went to the game screen, and it's like I watched it happen. Like he clicked save, and my brain just didn't register in my brain. And then he went down to my save, and it still didn't register. And then when he hit confirm, I was like, he just saved over my game. He just saved over my game with his crappy game, and I just lost everything.
Oh no!
And I was like, you just saved over my game. He's like, oh, I was trying to load it. I'm like, it's gone. You can't load it. It's just your game now. Now it's just a copy of it's just your game again. You can't. My game's gone. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done playing this game. I'm good.
That would suck.
I stopped playing. I never played that game again. I had not played another Harvest Moon until Stardew Valley came out, which is super Harvest Moon on steroids. So I had a long hiatus from farming simulators, which, by the way, I'm glad I did, because I don't know if I would have been smart enough back then to realize the shift in games from Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon, and I might still be playing those crappy versions of Harvest Moon that Natsume makes. So I don't know if I dodged a bullet or what, but regardless, it hurts to this day because I had such an awesome game going.
That I think that would hurt my soul if that
Definitely.
happened to me.
Definitely. That was always one of my fears, not necessarily with the Wii, but we always bring up other topics just because they relate. But that was always my fear back in the PlayStation days with like Final Fantasy or games like that. So I remember having multiple memory cards to have like, I would save it memory card slot 1 and then memory card slot 2, and you'd have the same game saved. Just be like, I just have to, like, just in case. Because the first time that ever would happen to me, your blood would boil. I could imagine, Nick, how upsetting it was.
It was tormenting. It was awful because it's like I didn't want to get mad and act all crazy, but I was really mad and I wanted to act all crazy. Yeah. But I just stayed calm and I just wrote it off as a loss, and I never played it again.
I'm trying to remember, how many controllers did it actually have? I know it had the Wii-Mote or the Wii remote. The
like
nunchuck,
43,000.
There was the classic that kind of looked like the old school Nintendo controllers.
Yep, and they had kind of a classic Pro controller that looked like kind of like a more of an Xbox style controller.
Yeah.
But they also had the Wii Motion Plus adapter for the Wii-Mote that it was like a little brick that you plugged into the bottom that made it read your movements better, but it kind of made it a little more clunky. So, that kind of stunk. But there were so many different attachments that you could use, like how many attachments did you guys use?
The Wii balance board.
Yeah.
The balance board. Do you remember? So the balance board came with Wii Fit. And there was a game in Wii Fit that you could do like skiing, like ski jumping, and it used the balance board. The balance board had like weights in it, and you would have to like lean forward on the Wii Fit balance board as if you were like leaning down a hill to like ski jump on it. So I remember having the Wii balance board because we had Wii Fit.
That's hilarious. I never actually played Wii Fit, but I was very familiar with it.
You guys ever have the Wii Zapper? I'm just looking at it right now, like looking at the different things. It's like a gun style for the remote, the Wii-Mote and the nunchuck. And like you could have it like a gun and hold the nunchuck in the back with the Wii-Mote up front.
Yeah, like turn it into a super scope.
Yeah.
Like imagine the Wii coming out now when people have 3D printers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine what would be on Thingiverse to make whatever type of controller you wanted?
That would be amazing. I'd love it. I'd start printing them right now.
Yeah. Like I know I used the wheel attachment when I played Mario Kart and stuff, because that was just fun having this like random loose steering wheel that you would just hold like a sideways pizza. You just hold it and just twist it around. I don't know how accurate it was, but it was fun.
Yeah.
We had
I like that sideways pizza.
Yeah. We had the Wii golf club, the Wii tennis racket, the Wii ping pong paddle. I know for sure.
There's so many connections. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know I had the fishing pole at one point in time.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The one thing that when I think about these attachments that I want to find for my Oculus is a way to attach my Oculus controller to like a half shaft of a golf club or something, just to give it more like weight and feel when I'm like putting and doing like that was one thing. It was so crazy. It had all these attachments, but it gave the game like a better feel when you were making certain motions, when you had that remote that was kind of shaped like the object in which you were playing with.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So on the notes that we have for the podcast episode, I wrote down, when they go left, Nintendo goes right. And I think this is an absolute gem that they go by, because you had the PS3 and the Xbox 360 pushing hardware, pushing graphics, just upscaling everything. It's so powerful. I think you have Nintendo if you're doing weird shit,
like you got the Mii.
They're doing a bunch of weird stuff, and some of it works. Hey, some of it doesn't work, but they're just like, yeah, whatever. This is fun. And it sold 101 million units. That's 80 million more than the GameCube. And they're just like doing weird stuff, man.
Yeah, they did. They really did. And the games that they put out with it were just out there. But I remember playing so many of them. And and that's when you introduced what'd you say it is? The Mii?
Yeah, the Mii. You got the Mii channel and all that, where you had to make your own little avatar to play your Wii Sports.
Yeah, Xbox avatars don't exist without Nintendo Wii's Mii's.
Yeah. They were the creepiest things too. Just
well, and it was awesome because when you played the Wii Sports games, you played as your Mii.
Yes,
you played your Wii as your Mii.
So you were like, "Hey, that's me," Yeah, it was brilliant. Like, it was such a great family console. Mm-hmm. So you could have just quick pick up and play fun, but then you could play Zelda or Fire Emblem and play a more serious game.
Well, then they took the motion of some of those games, or of those controllers, and added it to the games, right? Because that wasn't Skyward Sword, or was that Wii U? I know one of those games it came out on that, and some of the actions from the port over to the Switch are kind of weird, because when it was on the Wii, you actually would have to hold the controller up to charge your sword, because it was actually based off the motions of the controller.
Yeah, I can't remember if it came out for the Wii or the Wii U, but it was one of those.
I just think it was interesting that they had games like that. It
was the Wii U.
Gotcha. I just still thought it was interesting. You had games like that weren't necessarily like the Wii Fit or the Wii Sport or anything of that nature, and these other game companies were trying to utilize the motion aspect of what the Wii had to offer. They didn't just make a game and just kind of be like, yeah, we don't really care that you did all this craziness. We're just going to make a game and still a controller, turn the controller sideways and play our game, get over it.
Right.
No, they were actually like, oh, cool. Well, we'll try and develop something that, point your controller at the screen and you can control a gun or a crossbow or, whatever it may be within the game, which I think is crazy that game developers go that far to try and match the ability of what the console is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because initially I was kind of resistant to that. Like when Twilight Princess came out, I honestly didn't want to use the motion controls. I really didn't, but I ended up having some leg surgery and I had some issues and I was held up in bed for quite a while. And I said, okay, fine. I'm going to get Twilight Princess and play it on the Wii with the motion controls. And even being stuck in bed, sitting up, leaning against the back of my bed, like the motion controls worked fine. I was able to do all the sword combat stuff fine and fire arrows. And it was actually really smooth. And I ended up loving it.
Yeah, it's that's what I mean. Like that right there. Like you're so resistant to it, but then the game developers find a way to not only do it, but do it in such a way that it just feels fluid. It doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel difficult. You're just like, oh wow, I go left, sword goes left, and then you're like, then all of a sudden you're just standing there going like this, shaking your hands back and forth because you're watching Link like, oh look at that, he's just swinging back and forth all crazy like.
Yeah, and then you have games like they released, Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, and they added it so that you're now aiming with the Wii-Mote. So now you're taking control and aiming at the screen almost like a light gun, which enhanced that game more. Because I played Resident Evil 4 in VR recently, and it was so good that I played it. I literally played it twice. But like as soon as I finished it, I just started it again. It's so good. But like I can only imagine, because I never played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii with that motion controlling, but I can only imagine that it really did enhance the experience, because I would have to assume it's similar to in VR, because obviously you can aim the gun wherever you want, and it just felt so right. So I mean, that probably enhanced the game tenfold.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is interesting. And then there were so many third-party attachments that came out that weren't even like, made by Nintendo, but because like you mentioned, had 3D printing been big back then, that's essentially all they were doing. They're like, oh, there's a Wii Golf and we don't have a golf club, let's just print a 3D golf club out of plastic that's got a spot where the controller will inlay. I mean, it's basically what they were doing. And they were basically printing money with plastic. Like, just insane. Because I remember a couple of them would come in like 3-box sets and all sorts of crazy attachments and third-party accessories for the Wii.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I really liked about the Wii as well is it was cheaply built. Like they didn't, they tried to use cheaper components, like kind of like, as they state, like these commercial off-the-shelf hardware stuff, because they wanted it. Miyamoto actually said he wanted it to be a machine that would cost $100 to spend nothing on the technology, so that way the money could be spent on improving the software and like making these better games and making games better for the family and like all that, the different attachments and everything like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you can have 5,000 first-person shooters released on the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo is going to deliver 1 or 2 high-quality games a year, guaranteed. Like any Mario game that comes out, any Zelda game that comes out. I mean, I don't think I'm blowing smoke to say that it's probably going to be a really good game. I mean, hell, even Mario plus Rabbids, this ridiculously stupid-looking game on the Switch, is amazing. And that game is so cheap they give it away, but it's incredible.
I mean, I know like right now where we're at with people, the hype behind the new Zelda with it being delayed, Breath of the Wild 2, but I'm sure it's going to be just an amazing game, which is why people are so upset that it's been delayed, because they know it's going to be such a great game and they just want it out so that they can play it.
Yeah, I actually saw that people are so upset about it that they're asking for a port of the HD remaster of Wind Waker to the Switch to hold them over.
Yes, I was reading that as well. Like, they're not mad to the point they're like, oh, we're just not going to buy your game. They're like, well, if you can't give us that game, then give us an old game that we can play on a new system.
Yeah, we just want an excuse to play more Zelda.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I hate about the gaming community, is like if something gets delayed, they get angry. And then like like there's been times where they force companies to release games early and then they're trash. And it's like, well, sorry, you wanted this game before it was ready. Like, yeah, we're delaying it, but we're delaying it for you because we want to make this good game.
Yeah, look, I don't care if it takes an extra year to make the game. It's all about quality, right? I mean, make sure that it's to the standard that you were looking for when you had the idea to make the game. I hate it when they force rush games out and then patch them week by week to finish it, basically.
I'd rather have 2 quality games than have a Call of Duty every year.
Yeah.
I mean,
or a game that's released and then they're like, oh, we'll buy the season pass. That's how you get the rest of the complete game.
Yeah. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at Smash Brothers. They make one Smash Brothers for each console. One Smash Brothers. And this is the only Smash Brothers. Maybe they did it on the Game Boy DS one, but I didn't play that one. But this is either the second or first Smash Brothers where they actually have a download option, to download extra characters, because they had the season pass where they released additional characters to their already monstrously large roster. So it's like so much value, and nobody is expecting a new Smash Brothers game every year. They just want the one for that console.
Right. And then the idea of them adding the download stuff allows them to basically create a new Smash Brothers every year by saying like, oh, well, there's these X number of characters within our universe that are not on Smash Brothers, and we're going to release them in 6 months or whatever it may be. Like, look who's coming. And you have certain people who are going to get like fanboy excited because they're like, oh my God, they're bringing one of my favorite characters from X game to Smash Brothers to like play as. And they may not even own Smash Brothers, but because that character is coming, the sales for Smash Brothers is going to go up because they want to buy it just to play it as that character, because that's one of their favorite characters from the Nintendo universe.
I will say that I am kind of disappointed with the characters that they have released, because it's like 20% new fun characters, 80% characters from Fire Emblem. And it's like, yeah, it's like, I get it. Fire Emblem was a cool game, but hey, you know who else would be really cool in Smash Brothers? Tomba, Crash Bandicoot.
And it's not like you can't do it, because you have characters that look similar and are of the similar, kind of play style with DK.
There's 3 links.
Yeah.
There's 3 links.
Yeah.
2 of them are children. Like, they could do it, but honestly, I think Fire Emblem is really big, and they were also promoting the new game coming out, so they put a lot of Fire Emblem characters in there. But hey, that's fine, because honestly, my favorite character in the new Smash Brothers game is I play my mains are Cloud and Captain Falcon mainly, but side characters are definitely Ganondorf, probably Mario. I actually really like Joker, but I'm not very good with him.
I have so many characters that I don't have because I got my Switch so much later than everybody. So then, like, you guys weren't doing Smash Bro nights and stuff. And
hey, say the word, man.
Word.
I will have a Smash Bros night with you tomorrow.
Oh boy, I mean, I've absolutely loved that game, and I've been playing like the weird story thing on it lately, like, and not even necessarily the fighting, but definitely such a great game. And I do remember. It's been such a great game every year. But to your point, you're right. Like, they don't need to release a game every year. They just release like good quality games.
Yeah, I mean, that's the level of quality that people expect from Nintendo. I mean, can you imagine if people expected Activision to release a single game for a system and it be so good that they don't need to release another one of these until they release a new console?
Yeah, that's insane. Like, I mean,
I
would love it. I mean, I would love something like that. Like, that's
the thing that kills me is the Wii outsold the PlayStation and Xbox 360.
It was massive, because not only did it compel the true gamers, because it had the Zelda games, it had the Mario games, it had the Fire Emblem, it had some other games, but it also had that aspect of like Steven said, families wanting to buy it. Like parents choosing to buy it. Wii Fit was actually a huge success. If you look at it, like, there was a lot of people that bought Wii's just for Wii Fit. Yeah. I mean, like, this was absolutely a 100% family console, and the Wii U just expanded on that and just said, oh, well, it's just a really good version of the Wii, but if you want, you can cast the screen to the giant controller. And it was basically a prototype Switch.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't even like by a little bit, like that they outsold them either. I mean, you look at Xbox 360, they sold 84 million units. Look at the PlayStation 3, they sold 87.4 million units. The Wii sold 101.63 million units. Like, I mean, you're looking at almost 15, 20 million units more than 2 of the biggest systems. Like it's just that's like what you're saying. Like they pandered to the perfect audience with it, and it worked.
Yeah. They just did stuff and people liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, and like I know you mentioned Wii Sports was obviously the highest sold because it came with the game, but then even still, Wii Fit was 20% of the sales if you look at the overall like number of units, with 22 million units of Wii Fit sold.
Yep.
Like it was a game that it was also a way that we started to get into this idea of almost like virtual workout classes, a way to bring working out to home. You didn't have to go to a gym. Maybe you didn't feel comfortable going to a gym. You know, it had yoga, it had, you know, weightlifting things, and the balance board actually helped you with some of that stuff because it had sensors in it so that you were, when you were standing on the balance board, it would pick up like where your weight shifts and stuff were so that you could work and do certain yoga poses and things of that nature, like when you're on one foot and all sorts of stuff. I mean, they really kind of changed what you could do with a video game system.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it led the way. And now I have a game called Ring Fit. Have you guys seen Ring Fit on the Switch?
I've seen it with the like the bouncy like ring, like you can back and forth. And
yeah,
like,
I have this big, it comes with this big ring. It's like a metal ring that you can expand and pull. And like, that's the workout part, because it actually has some tension. And then there's a strap that goes around your leg, and you put one of the Joy-Cons and on your leg, and one inside of the wheel, the ring. And then you actually, there's mini games you can play, or you can go on jogs and stuff, but it works the ring in, because like if you point the ring down and push in, that actually blows air down and your character jumps in the air. But like to run, you actually have to move your feet. You have to literally run in place to run. So you're running and then like doing this and you know squeezing this ring and pulling the ring and twisting it, and like there's all these different things you have to do. There's like the treadmill of death, where you're on this big treadmill and you have to run really fast to collect coins, and then you have to run slower and you go backwards because the treadmill is going the opposite direction. Then you have to run really fast to catch back up to the coins. We have to use the ring to jump over bombs and stuff. I mean, it's got workouts for all kinds of different things you can choose, but it's legitimately fun to play.
Yeah. And just think it, all this is because they just said, you know what, we're not going to compete with Microsoft and Sony on the graphics, like you said earlier. And they just went for that bigger demographic.
Yeah, they said King Kong ain't got shit on me, and they released some weird shit.
Like, we invented Donkey Kong, all right.
Speaking of Donkey Kong, I believe this is the Switch. This is the system that Donkey Konga came out on. Is it, or is it the GameCube?
GameCube platform.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I don't know why I thought it was the Wii.
Because you could play it on the Wii.
Yeah.
I remember playing like the Wii. I think the Wii was the first game console that I had, in which I remember going to the Wii store to buy games.
Yeah, the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
The Wii was the first online system that Nintendo had for online store and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that whole generation of consoles, like that was the era where it first started, where you could get games on the console itself, like buy them off of a digital store. And even the older games, because I remember the PS3, because the Wii competed with the PS3 and the Xbox 360 in that generation. So, I mean, both of those consoles, I remember downloading Oddworld on the PS3 network and playing, you know, old PlayStation games and stuff. And you know, the Wii and the Xbox had the similar, you know, Xbox obviously couldn't go back too far.
Yeah.
not a lot of nostalgia for their old games because they're not too old at that time. But I mean, it was great to be able to download like Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Super Mario Brothers 3, you know, like some of my all-time favorite games, just right onto my, you know, Wii. And I could just use the Wii Classic controller. You had to plug it into the Wii-Mote, but then you could use the Wii Classic controller to play it just like it was like SNES. Like it felt awesome, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. That's what I was gonna say too, is like that was one thing I loved with that, being able to go online and buy all of those and then play all of those old games, and they ran really well. And then even I think the Wii had was also backwards compatible. So it allowed me to pick up some of those GameCube games and still be able to play them because I could play them on the Wii.
Yeah. I actually remember when I came back in 2011, the girl that I was living with had the Wii, and that's when you had Netflix and all that started, going from the DVD shipped to your house, and you could actually start watching online and stuff, and it was on the Wii.
Yeah, I still have a Netflix disc in the paper to ship back that I never sent back. And they've never asked for it back. I just still have it, and I've just kept it in the package, and I haven't opened it at all.
Now we're showing our age.
What DVD would that be?
I don't know. I don't remember.
One of our life's greatest mysteries.
I'll open it up when they open the Nickelodeon time capsule. So, I mean, the virtual console was great, but I think the ultimate channel option you could use on the Wii was the Wii Homebrew channel. Did you guys ever play around with that?
I did not. I was actually not familiar with that. Like I said, most of my playing of this was, coming home on weekends from school.
Yeah, so a lot of people I knew had the Homebrew channel set up on their Wii, and it was basically like a hack that you could set up. It was a channel that the original Wii Homebrew channel you had to activate by playing Twilight Princess. You had to go to the specific area and talk to this certain NPC to have her say Epona's name or something. And when Epona's name popped up, that initiated the soft mod for the Homebrew channel. And then it would go into the Homebrew channel. Like nowadays, there's different things you have to do, I'm sure. But back then, that's what you had to do to get it going. But it was basically like a hacked channel that you could just put whatever you wanted on. You could put any ISO or old game, whatever, just on there, and you could just run whatever. You could have all the games on your Wii. Bam.
That's pretty sweet.
It was awesome, and a lot of people had it. That's what makes the Wii so great nowadays, is because you can get a Wii and it'll play all the GameCube games, but you can also do these certain things to turn it into a multi-machine.
Kind of crazy. So I'm looking it up, and it says by talking to an NPC that loads Epona's custom name, and it says this name contains data for the soft mod. It allows you to sideload. But however, the system menu 4.0, the Twilight hack, has been blocked and has been replaced with what's called the banner bomb, which still works on the system menu 4. Up to 4.3 and Smash Stack, which is where it requires you to have Super Smash Brothers Brawl. So like all of these hacks in some way, shape, or form are exploits that these people have found around the code inside other video games that exploit the Wii system to allow you to get in and soft mod it and sideload it.
Yeah, it's
people
genius.
are crazy. Like people just
who would have thought of that?
Exactly. How do you even figure that out? Like,
yeah, it's just nuts. Like, how do you take a game and break it down to the point that you can see all of that code and like debug it to know that? I mean, like these guys who run all the mods on like old cartridge games and stuff, like how do they break it all down and know that like, oh, if you do this and this, there's a glitch here, and it's insane. And then for Nintendo to patch it basically, and then they're like, oh, you can't stop me.
Yeah, my kung fu is stronger than your kung fu.
One thing that annoyed me about the Wii is you couldn't out of the box play DVDs on the Wii.
Really?
Yeah, you had to go through the homebrew stuff.
Did you really? I didn't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I'd realize that either. Like I don't know that we ever tried. I mean, I probably did at some point, but yeah, I don't think I ever realized that it wasn't an out of the box thing because it is for the other systems.
That was one of the most annoying things that I did not like about it, because I remember the girl that I was with had a Wii and we wanted to watch it, and we had to go into her closet to get the like little DVD player she had, like the little mini one, and hook it up to the TV just to watch a DVD that we wanted to watch. We couldn't just use the Wii.
Oh yeah. See, I always had my PS3 hooked up too. I guess I just always used the PS3 because I think that was during the time there was the DVD format war between Sony and Xbox, where Xbox was trying to push the, what was it? They were doing like the,
yes, I know it's the HD DVD.
Yeah, the HD DVD versus the Blu-ray and the PS3. And Blu-ray crushed him, but because Xbox was like, oh, spend extra money and buy this external high definition DVD ROM drive. And Sony's like, just put a Blu-ray in me.
Yeah.
So that's a win for Sony.
Like Nintendo did, I'm reading Nintendo did plan on incorporating a DVD like feature in the later revisions, but just never, there was a delay in the schedule and just it lost interest.
Mm.
Well, I think at that point, yeah, you've got this HD, DVD, and Blu-ray support. Like, I would lose interest too. Like, oh, yeah, we can play the old ones, just
Yeah.
the regular ones, not the ones that are high quality, but we can play DVDs now. And everybody else is out buying a Blu-ray player.
So also, there's a lot of these games on the GameCube and the Wii. And on other systems too. I missed because this was also during the time of MMORPGs for me. So that sucked me away from a lot of these games. So like I never actually played Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Wii. I did for a short period of time own a copy of Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, but a friend left it at my house and we were in a big fight. And so I went and traded it in and got money. And me and me and another friend went to Arby's and got dinner.
Savage.
So I unfortunately never got to play it because I was a spiteful human being that also wanted Arby's. So
To say that actually makes sense because I didn't even think about it that way. But starting in 2006, 2007 is when I really started getting into World of Warcraft.
We were playing Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of these games I just simply missed because I was so obsessed with playing Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah. And like, I mentioned to you guys before we started recording, like this is the first Zelda game that I never played was Skyward Sword that came out on this.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah.
I bought it on the Switch,
one.
but I haven't played it yet. I still need to play it.
Yeah. I need to buy it on the Switch.
I have it on the Switch and I have played it and I've played through a few dungeons already. It's actually fun. Like I enjoy it.
I've heard good things about it. I need to play. It's another one of those games that I need to buy on the Switch that's just sitting upstairs gathering dust that I need to just start playing.
It's tough. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but as we get older, finding the time to just sit down and just play games, and then the idea that sometimes we don't even play the games that necessarily we want to be playing because we still want the social aspect of like you said, I mean, we live hours and hours apart, so like I choose to, we record together, and then if we play some games together, and if I choose not to play those games with you and I play something else, then it's like I'm missing that social aspect of hanging out with somebody who I'm friends with who now we live in separate states. So it's like sometimes you just don't have the time to jump in and play all those games. It's tough.
Yeah. My biggest reason for not playing a lot of the games is because fortunately I stream. So I play a lot of computer games. I don't have it hooked up to stream console games. So I miss out on the, because I've got a family. My video game days are my stream days. And outside of that, it's recording or hanging with my family.
Need to get that card. Was it the video card hookup or whatever?
Yeah.
Just need to get yourself one of those so you can broaden your horizons.
We shall see. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
So we've been talking a lot about how it was great that it could play GameCube games and it had GameCube support. So they actually released additional models. I was not aware of this. So they released additional models beyond what we saw. So the original Wii, I love the way it looks. It's white, it's sleek. It sits in that gray stand with a clear base. Like it just looks so futuristic, so clean, so white. But
like
in
a tower just shining up.
Yeah, and it's just small and it's like angled. It just looks so good. But in 2011, they actually released a family edition of the Wii, which was cheaper, but it didn't have any GameCube controller ports, and it didn't support any GameCube games, obviously, because you couldn't use a GameCube controller. And it actually sat flat. It didn't come with a stand. So it just wasn't as cool, first of all. And it had less features. And then a few years later, they released the Wii Mini, and this was only released in Canada. And it actually looked kind of cool. It was orange and black, but it actually had a top loader for the disc tray. So it was like an old CD player. You'd hit the button and the whole thing would open up. It had no online support. And it was not backwards compatible. Again, no GameCube controller ports. So I didn't even know they released additional models of the Wii.
Feel like I've heard that they did, but I didn't actually know if they did or not.
I remember seeing at least pictures of the family edition one, the one that sat flat. We had an original one, but
Yeah, I probably have. I probably just thought somebody broke theirs and it was just laying sideways.
I don't know that I knew it was called the family edition. I thought it was just like a second version, kind of like you have the PlayStation Slim sort of thing.
Well, I'd also like to throw in, because I always like to plug random web series. Back in the day of Brawl, there was actually a web series that came out on YouTube called There Will Be Brawl. It's an episodic web series that's essentially a murder mystery. And Luigi is just on this like murder mystery quest. And it's like a gritty, like real life take on Smash, where people are drug addicts and like Mario sells mushrooms, like it's dark times. And Luigi's the only one that's on the up and up trying to do the right thing. And it's hilarious and it's kind of dark. That Kirby is kind of like Hannibal Lecter, like keep him in cells because he eats people.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But I highly recommend, if you're a young person, you probably never seen this. If you're an older person and you weren't super into Brawl like we were, then you probably haven't seen this. Look it up. It's pretty fun.
Little side tidbit. Do you guys know what the game designers Miyamoto and I don't know how to say his name, Takeda? I don't know. The two game designers that led the console's development. Do you know what their code name for the Wii was?
The GameCube was the dolphin.
The unicorn.
I'm gonna say swordfish.
No. It actually fits perfectly with them saying that they were wanting to avoid competition and instead went a different way, because the code name for it is Revolution.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, pretty little fun tidbit there.
And if you really look at the design from the Nintendo Wii to the Wii U to the Switch, you can see how they took all the best parts of each of those systems and created something wholly new. And it is, the Switch is everything that the Wii and the Wii U like wanted to be, because the Wii introduced the motion controls and the Wii U introduced, holding something with a screen that was that size. I mean, it's so beautiful. If you look, you can actually see the evolution. It's almost like a Pokemon in different stages. Like the Switch is the third evolution. Like this is the maxed out Dynamax evolution of the Wii,
And I think now we are out of time, ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode. I hope you enjoyed sticking around with us and learning more about the Wii. And don't forget to check us out on our socials. What are those, Brendan?
Gamers Getting Old on Twitter and Gamers Getting Older on Instagram.
And don't forget to pull out your CRT television and pick up that Wii sensor bar that fell back there. Those things always slide down the back of your dang TV. I recommend getting some Velcro.
Strip on top of the TV, strip on top of the sensor bar, sticks like glue.
Yeah, and hey, if you try to play a Wii on any current TV, good luck getting that damn sensor bar to stay on top of the TV, because TVs are like an inch thick nowadays. And they're all slanted. Okay? So good luck.
And as always, until next time.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go Mac, right? Like,
Do it, baby.